Thank you for joining us. I'm Helen Healey.
And I'm Jackie Park. October was quite an eventful month at Duke. Let's jump right in. The month started off strong with fall break. From the 5th to the 10th, students confirmed having had an awesome 5 days traveling, spending time with family, and binge watching terrible Netflix shows.
It's recruiting season. Students suited up to impress the best of the best companies in finance, consulting, and tech. If you landed your dream internship or job, congratulations. And if this cycle didn't go so well for you, don't be disheartened. A failed recruiting attempt is definitely not the end of your career game.
So yeah, last year recruiting, I went through the process from Microsoft. I thought I did pretty well in the first round interview, but they didn't have space for me to come on site, so that was pretty disheartening. I actually ended up not getting any internships from the fall recruiting cycle. I ended up getting my internship around late March. But then I realized I could do better. So what I did over the summer were primarily 3 things. So I took the feedback from the interviews that I'd done in the fall, and I worked on improving those. So I did technical questions preparation in starting in June. Second thing is I really crafted my behavioral skills so there'd be a convincing story for me when I did talk to interviewers. And the third thing is that I reached out to alums and networks starting in June so that I would have referrals and then almost guaranteed interviews when this cycle came around. I think due to those main 3 things, I managed to get a pretty good full-time offer from Microsoft.
Duke teamed up with Apple to allow adding the card to the Apple Wallet app on your phone. Now, all you need to do is carry around your iPhone to get into buildings and swipe for food. But try to have your Duke card with you anyway in case there are technical difficulties or your phone runs out of battery. It's still a trial run.
Less than a month after Florence, Hurricane Michael made landfall on the Florida coast. Thankfully, our campus was unaffected other than heavy rainfall, but our thoughts go out to those who were affected.
The freshman plague is inescapable and never-ending. Once you let out that first sneeze, you and everyone around you should basically say bye-bye to health for the rest of the semester.
But there are some ways you could try to escape it and end it for good. Here are some do's and don'ts for when you catch the deadly disease.
H?
Hey,
H.
who has gotten sick since they came to Duke?
The first time I got sick was probably the second week of school.
I think I first got sick within the first couple weeks.
Probably a couple weeks after school started.
I've just been sick since the beginning. It's just never ending.
I got it after all my friends got it.
Yeah, I had the same experience. They were sick before I got sick.
We were all just kind of sick at the same time. I feel like it's hard to tell who gave it to because it's just spreading.
It just spreads everywhere, especially as everyone's just living so close to each other.
Patient 0 must have brought the disease from home, and then it started spreading, and then more and more people got sick, and then it spread through shooters and parties. And
How was probably the first barn party. It was the sleepover one where all the dirty mattresses were flying.
Because everybody's going crazy and nobody sleeps.
Don't have a very developed immune system, and then suddenly everyone's together.
Dayquil. Lots of water, lots of sleep.
Cam and Crazies are back. Countdown to Craziness is the pregame for Duke basketball. But getting tickets for this year's countdown was an absolute nightmare. The ticket booth opened at 6 a.m., but students started lining up at midnight, and some even before. But there were so many people that they eventually ran out, and those who lined up after 5 a.m. waited 5 hours for nothing.
The fuss was ultimately worthwhile because the event was a huge success. Just look at all this energy. Countdown happened during Parents' Weekend, so the stadium was packed with not only students, but alumni and parents, all flashing blue.
With Election Day coming up, students and volunteers were busy all October getting people ready to register to vote. Props to all of those who did their part to get each other to the polls, from tabling on the BC Plaza to adding registration reminders on Snap Stories.
Whether students stayed on campus or made the traditional pilgrimage to Franklin Street, everyone had a blast this Halloween.
The annual North Carolina State Fair took place all throughout October. Students took a break from their busy schedules to drive down to Raleigh and enjoy the festivities.
2 lessons from the fair. 1, deep frying anything makes it twice as good. Oreos, meatballs, pie, you name it. And 2, bright lights and a giant stuffed animal create the cutest Instagram photo. If you didn't post the state fair picture, you're falling behind on the Instagame. Helen, did you go to the fair?
I didn't make it this year, but how was it for you?
I went on the last day and it was super packed. I had a lot of fun, but it was so cold that I had to buy a sweater there.
Yeah, it's definitely getting a lot chillier in the area. Make sure to stay warm and don't catch the plague, folks. Well, thanks for tuning in.
Remember to hit that subscribe button down below, and remember,
Good news
is great news
with Blues News.
See you next month.